Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, issue 4. Brian Brucchetto writing with Christian Duce and Tom Derenick on the art. And I will say I didn't notice the art change in this one when it hit.
Yeah.
But this is continuing to be quite a bit of fun. The big thing, of course, is that Godzilla seemed to like really put Superman out before, to the point where some of the Justice League members are just straight up saying he's dead. And,
yeah, he doesn't have a pulse.
And Batman is basically saying, no, he's not gone yet. He's not done for yet. We'll find a way to bring him back. Batman even speculates we don't even know if he has someone else says we don't know if he has a pulse, and then Batman says, no, he's got the biggest heart of anyone I goddamn know. He has a pulse. So it's kind of sweet. It really plays on this idea of Batman like believing in Superman and basically believing that he'll be okay no matter what. And like again, obviously Batman's very proactive, so he's like, okay, let's figure out a way to deal with this. Let's do this. But he's the one that, as soon as like they're done talking about Superman, though, he's like, oh, okay, the Dreamstone's missing. This is how they've done it. Toyman, where's Toyman? Is he controlling these monsters? Like immediately, as soon as he's had time to like start investigating, he starts piecing it together almost instantly.
I mean, to me, that's also his coping strategy, right? He can't deal with personal stuff, so he's got a laser brain that he has to focus on something. And now it's this mystery of where do the Titans come from? I also like how through this issue, because they don't know this is Godzilla, they keep calling it the Metropolis monster, which I do like. That fits in with the tone.
Well, yeah, one of them knows, though. Maybe it's Lex that calls him Godzilla.
Lex calls him Godzilla because he's working with some, we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's working with some info from the other Earth.
Yeah, so they're looking about to try and find a lot of the monsters have sort of went into hiding. They went into the water or whatever. Kara is with King Kong, and she's having a staring contest to try and communicate with King Kong. She thinks that King Kong understands. Like, she has a moment where Kong seems to show a different facial expression, show something different in his eyes. So she flies off to go try and help Superman. She thinks she's needed, which leaves Green Arrow with Kong, and Kong is growling in his direction, and he's like, hey, big guy, we're cool. But then he realizes he's growling at whoever's behind him, and it turns out the League of Assassins are on Skull Island. So Green Arrow and King Kong inadvertently team up to start fighting all these League of Assassins ninjas.
I love the stupid book so much.
Yeah.
I love that he pounds his chest at Green Arrow. Green Arrow takes it as a slight, right? Because Ollie's so self-centered that he's like, oh, the monkey has issues with me. Oh, wait, no, there's other people. Like, that was so funny to me.
Yeah, we have Lois coming back to see Clark on the Watchtower. So that's kind of an emotional beat. She pulls out the wedding ring she's found, or the engagement ring, I should say, and is like, my answer's yes, but you have to put it on me, so you have to wake up. So yeah, they're pulling at the heartstrings and all that. But she calls in some favors as a reporter to try and find out where Lex Luthor is, to try and track down the Legion of Doom. So, she might end up being useful. The Legion of Doom bicker about who's in charge and who's taking orders. It's a whole thing.
Manta makes some sense, though. He's talking about, how Lex is going about this and these creatures and whatever. So, but that was a lot of fun, too.
Cheetah and Deathstroke are looking for Toyman as well, and Toyman does seem to be showing up in the vicinity of some of the monsters. He was at the pier when Godzilla was attacking Metropolis, they find out. Lex seems to be building Mechagodzilla, and I don't know if I called this. I feel like I might have guessed this. Yeah,
because it's just like a big piece of technology. Like, I'm willing to bet he's gonna use whatever he found to make a Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, he's talking about the tech and how they built some mechanical thing to, mechanized Titan was the exact phrase, capable of defeating the greatest monsters. But yeah, he does point out, though, based on the files of the Other Earth, that Godzilla's just there to maintain natural order. He's not actually there to destroy things. We can't convince it to kill the Justice League. And it does raise the interesting question then, okay, so why was he fighting Superman so hard? Is it because Superman's powerful enough that he thought he was a Titan? Or is this manipulation from whatever Toyman's doing with the Dreamstone kind of thing?
So I took that as right from what we know about the MonsterVerse is that's what Godzilla does, right? Is he goes to seek out the big monster because he has to be king, right? That's his beef with King Kong in the movie. So the fact that Superman is on this Earth, kind of one of the biggest deals, I feel that that's what led him to Metropolis. And then he took care of business like Godzilla does, right? Like he took out, so then he left to go find the next biggest threat to maintain that natural order. And so it ended up making a lot of sense there with where Godzilla's gone and then who he ends up fighting in this one, which that was another holy moment, you know?
Yeah, we're getting to that. I'm not convinced that's the reason why he fought Superman. I could still see it being a different reason depending on what they want to reveal, but we'll see.
So what then? Do you think that Toyman just brought him to? So you think he's looking more for Toyman because Toyman has the stone and it's almost acting like the beacon?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, the fact that they made a point of showing that Toyman was there where Godzilla was. Yeah. And fighting Superman could be nothing more than Superman came up to him on his level.
Damage, and right?
Well, not even just collateral, but Superman came up and tried to like sort of stare him down, and Godzilla, you know,
doesn't play well with others except when he does.
Yeah,
you know.
So yeah, the rest of the heroes like Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern go to help Aquaman and Atlantis. So they've all got breathers on. And there's this giant Titan. It's like a big sea dragon, I'm going to call it.
Yeah, it's got like eel features, but also like, you know, weird, like it's not fully like a snake though either. Like like a sea dragon's the best thing.
It's definitely got like a dragon head though. Like that's why I'm calling it that. So you know they're fighting this thing and they're kind of struggling. Then Godzilla swims in and fires off its atomic breath at the sea dragon, and they're all like freaking out. They don't know what to do. This big fight's happening underwater, and then Aquaman's like, "Look, we gotta, go open the door, Mark." And he's like, "King, you sure? All right." So Arthur goes and unlocks a big chain. And we get this big full 2-page spread. Godzilla on one side, this sea dragon Titan on the other side. And then in the middle, what Arthur's just released, it's a Kraken. To which someone actually says, he seriously just released the Kraken. Yeah. So there's a Kraken fight.
And I like that they point out that it's not just the Kraken's not just another monster. It is Atlantis' last line of defense, right?
Yes.
You know. So I like that they're working that in.
This is a giant monster native to this Earth. So that's interesting. This one ends kind of abruptly as well, actually, because it just goes to the last page after this, and it goes all the way back to Skull Island because we've not been there since early on in the issue. But Green Arrow, when he went off the cliff earlier on, he fell onto the League of Assassins ship, and the end of the issue is him looking under the big tent that they've got on the ship. And there's a giant skull head. So, yeah. Did you recognize what this is meant to be?
Yeah, that's the scroll crawler. That's the thing that Kong fights in Skull Island.
Okay.
It's the giant king one. So I wonder what they're gonna do with that. Maybe throw it into a Lazarus pit and bring back a king skull crawler. I don't know.
But I don't know. Yeah.
Does Roz just want a cool trophy for the trophy room? Who knows?
I'll be honest, I started looking at this panel for like 5 minutes trying to figure out what the hell skull it was meant to be. I was like, is this one of Ghidorah's heads? Like that's what I was thinking. And I was like, nah.
Well, but why would it be on Skull Island, right? Now you got to do that tie.
I don't know.
To that.
I
don't forget Monsters Heroes from space. So
True.
So and you got to remember too that in the interior in the logic of the story. Toyman brought these from that other Earth, right? So like Skull Island just popped up. So anything that was on there too. So I don't think like with Ghidorah, he would still be frozen. You would think, because I don't think any of that stuff's happened. Although who knows? Maybe we get Mecha Ghidorah, and that's what Lex is building.
I don't think so, because I think you have to have Ghidorah first before you have Mecha Ghidorah. Plus, Mecha Ghidorah in the movies isn't completely mecha. It's like
he's a cyborg.
Yeah, like parts of Ghidorah are still there, and then parts are cyborg. Whereas obviously Mecha Godzilla is just fully a mech thing. So yeah, I expect it's Mecha Godzilla that he's building, and maybe he's souped up with some Lex tech to give it a bit of extra oomph.
I was hoping he was just building a you know how we get the composite Superman Batman? I was hoping it was going to be a composite Mecha Godzilla Lex. It's essentially a Mecha Godzilla with Lex's head, right? Like,
I do like though that in that page where he's talking about, you can kind of see in the big workshop there's like part of the tail and the eyeballs sort of sitting there, so you get a sense of what he's building. So we might get that next issue. If I have a critique for this issue, is that I think the reason why the ending feels so abrupt is because all the fighting on Skull Island with Kong and Green Arrow is over like ages ago. And then we come back, and there's a panel at the top of the last page of Kong walking away just to let us know exactly where we are. And all I could think was, why wouldn't you just split up some of that Green Arrow Kong fight so that it ended in the last couple pages and just went straight into this? Like, because that Green Arrow and Kong stuff, like, that continued on after Supergirl left. Like, you could have ended that scene with the cliffhanger of the League of Assassins popping out the trees, cut there, go to the rest of the scenes in the book, and then just save that bit where they're fighting the League of Assassins together for the few pages before the ending, so that, because I think this last page on its own feels really weird separated from that. But
well, you could almost have had the page with Godzilla, the Sea Dragon, and the Kraken as the last kind of two.
You could have done it, but I'm just assuming they really wanted this to be the last page. I think just restructuring it to moving 3 or 4 pages from earlier to right before this, I think would have solved my issue. It just feels really weird to go to this last page when that felt over ages ago. I don't know. It felt a bit weird to me. It's not a huge deal, but it stuck out.
But it's enough of one, because it felt a little bit off to me too, because that was another one where I was expecting more, and then I got to the end and it was the end of the book.
Yeah. Art's been pretty solid. Obviously, the monsters especially look really good. They've been really fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
I did feel the art change a little bit here or there, though. Especially, it was in the... I think it actually is during the Green Arrow and League fight, or just after that, where it felt like it changed, and I was really noticing the art bouncing around a little bit. There's a page when Lois is on the phone, for example, to get looking up leads to try and find the Legion of Doom. I thought her face there really stuck out to me as looking very different from what a lot of the regular art is. It's got kind of a stretched kind of look to it. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it so much, but yeah. There you go. That's my extent of thoughts. It's not a really fun book. Like I'm enjoying how they're mixing and matching. Having Green Arrow work with King Kong's kind of amusing. Godzilla showing up to fight the various things, including the Kraken, also very entertaining. So, yeah. Well, if we're done, you can rate it, Matt.
It's it. I'll give it 7.5.
I think 7.5 sounds right to me as well. All right.